Someone needed to crash the party.
Yes, yes. Evan, our truth expert, is here from Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. How art thou?
A pleasure, Mike. As always, everything's wonderful, except the Americans trying to call Hong Kong China last week, which sent everyone into a panic, of course. But apart from that, it's all good.
Okay, so let's kick off my sanity question before we go any further. If you got into a time machine and went back 100 years, how would you explain 2018 to the people living in 1918?
You've got to remember, Mike, you're asking an insane person a sanity question. Everyone calls me crazy, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you've got that problem too. But if I went back to 1918, they'd probably go, hold on a tick, he actually speaks some sense, this guy. What could you tell them? You say it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better, is about all I could tell them.
And do you think people would throw you in an insane asylum if you told them about the massive divide in like 50 countries at war and we're in economic espionage and all this crap that's happening?
I think they're trying to throw me in an insane asylum these days. So I think they'd be a bit more charitable back in the Christian era, to be honest.
Christian era.
You know, when people had Christian era. Not anymore, though. We're in the secular everything goes era. So everything goes, and it goes flush, straight down the toilet.
You know what? It's just like, Mario that came on the show earlier answered that question for me, and he said that people will lose spirituality.
I don't think they'd give up hope, because remember, we need for every man an answer, a reason for the hope that lies within. Doesn't matter what happens in the world, you've got something that transcends the world. If you're a Christian, of course. If you're a nihilistic atheist who believes Bill Nye and his bow tie, and him flip-flopping on every which way, every topic, you know. He said there's only two genders. That episode's been deleted, and now he's got that disgusting gender song for children about sexuality. Wonderful. And he's not even a scientist, he's an engineer, so there you go.
Okay, so I want to, I love how Canada portrays Donald Trump. I mean, it's like CNN times 1,000. I'm looking here at Donald Trump's picture that Canadian News put up. He's got this smug face on. And then, let's top it off right here. Panic follows after a man shouts, "Hail Hitler and Hail Trump," at a Fiddler on the Roof show. So, was that necessary? I mean, why are they trying to intertie the two when the two are completely opposites?
Well, it's guilt by association, isn't it, Mike?
I never thought of it that way.
That's all it is. If I say it enough, some people will believe it, and they'll parrot it off to their idiotic friends, while the TV parrots it to their idiotic friends, and everyone becomes rather idiotic parroting. We end up with an aviary instead of a society, don't we? Where all the parrots are chirping, which is what we've got now. People believe the media far too much.
Okay, are we getting dumber? Like, seriously? Because I'm noticing...
Am I or you, Mike? I don't think we're getting dumber. I think a lot of people are getting dumber, though, because they're putting all their trust in the smartphone. They don't have to be smart anymore, because the phone does it for them. They're the smart thing now. And the people have to kowtow to the phone.
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of the younger people that do watch this show, guys, believe it or not, we used to have, or I still have today, like 40, 50 phone numbers memorized.
Yes, I remember all my phone numbers, every house I've been in. Even my mobile phone number, I remember it, because people ask you. But most people go, let me check my phone for the answer. Yes. So I simply could not store that amount of information, those 10 digits in my mind. Simply too much.
Oh, God forbid. All right, let's move on. Okay, this one is a really touchy subject, but I don't even know how to address it. It was posted today. Fact check. It's by The Weekly, so it's a decent. Publication. Was the recent California fire started by U.S. government using space lasers? And this one took a bit of growth on social media and got pretty big. So,
Hmm.
what do you think on that?
Well, they push space all the time, Mike. Don't they? Let's not get into too touchy a subject, but I would say they don't need a space laser to light a eucalyptus tree on fire. That was the problem. California imported all those eucalyptus trees over half a century ago, well over half a century ago now, and they've all matured, and they have a highly volatile, highly combustible oil in them. And even the slightest spark will set off a eucalyptus tree. They're fantastic trees, burning everything down by those means. I don't think you need a laser. And on top of that, they have fires every year. Didn't need a laser that time. Why do they need a laser this time?
Yeah, my prayers go out to the families of this absolute tragic mayhem. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Now they want government assistance, Mike. After slagging off Mr. Orange Mr. Trump, they've been saying, "You're bad, Trump. Now help us with federal aid money."
Yeah.
Just money.
Yeah, they went against Dr. Trump. They thought Dr. Trump. They went against Donald Trump, making him the next Mussolini, and now they're wanting aid. Donald Trump's a good guy, in his heart of hearts, and I think he will help when it's needed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of Italians, Mike, Salvini's doing quite well. He's made it. He's giving free land and free grants to actual Italians, and he's got an anti-migrant decree that's gone through. So I'd be curious to see what happens with Italy. They've been quite beset throughout their history. It's like when they tried to unify Sicily with the mainland of Italy, and they rigged the vote so no one ever believed in democracy again when it comes to the Italians. Mm-hmm. I'll be very curious to see if we have a ripple effect all the way down to Poland, which I imagine we would, because the Polish aren't very pleased with the EU twisting the screws as they are.
Well, I think Poland still is carrying their own monetary currency, right?
Yes, yes.
They don't have the euro.
Well, a lot of Scandinavian countries don't have the euro either, because, like Denmark, for example, they've got the krona. Swedish have their own krona, mm-hmm. and the Norwegians also have their own krona, and they're all got different exchange rates, of course. A Danish krona is equal to a Hong Kong dollar, more or less. You can buy a lot more in Hong Kong with your money, though.
Okay, so we got I got another article here from Fox 5. New York taxpayers pay $48,000 per Amazon headquarter job. My question is: Amazon is the government or the taxpayers giving too much to Amazon?
Well, here's the question, Mike. Is it actually a private company like Google? Is Google a private company if it's owned by defense contractors like Alphabet, and then they're owned by defense contractors, and they're owned by defense contractors? They all seem to be very well integrated. So if they're technically an arm of the government without being an arm of the government in name only, then surely your tax money should go to a government agency, right?
Okay, never thought of it that way. Thanks for putting that into perspective.
Well, they do like wasting a lot of money. Think about DARPA, Mike, or even NASA. NASA's got had an uncontested budget since its inception. And the word NASA, of course, means deceive in Hebrew. And their logo is a snake's tongue. So I don't know if we should trust where that money's going when it comes to NASA, to be honest, Mike. But I could go on.
Okay, guys, I'm going to leave a link in the comments. I need everyone to subscribe to this channel. I only got 17 subs. It's my handheld junkie. I do video game reviews, guys. It's one of my passions. I love doing it. I do a good job with it. You watch some of my video game reviews, right, Evan?
I do, and in fact, if I'm 2 of the subscribers, that would make me a major shareholder in your handheld junkie channel, Mike, wouldn't it? And I watch your live streams too, whenever they're on, because you get your reel that goes through. It's very impressive. You put a lot of work into them.
Yes. Guys, please subscribe to my little video game channel. I want it to grow. In case I do get delisted off the internet, people can still see me being all PG, you know what I'm saying? And not offending anybody. Okay, so we got Anon.
It's very hard to not offend anybody, Mike, because if I deliberately don't offend you, you can take offense to my not offending you. So you can't win, no matter what it is. It's whoever's on the side of right in their mind. It's whoever's feelings take precedent over yours. And being a heterosexual white male, you're at the bottom of the ladder like me.
Okay, so we got a new member that has joined our gang. It's called Cigar Face in the comments just said, I just found this channel. Well, welcome, Cigar Face.
Yes, welcome. I would be curious to see a self-portrait.
Yeah.
If it's like a cigar, Mike.
Okay. West Australia. The West Australian article you sent me. I had Anon cover that earlier in the show from Sydney, and how they're butchering basically language. Do you remember the article you sent me? How it is offensive. No?
Yeah, I sent you the one where they retroactively are erasing historical documentation. Like if it's an offensive word today, they're erasing it in the past. If that makes sense.
But that's like
that's Orwell's memory hole.
But it doesn't make sense, because if you're erasing the past, it's already happened. So,
but not if you erase the past, because if you reference the past, it's erased. So then you've changed the past for the perception of people in the present. It's like what Orwell said: "He who controls the future controls the past, and so on and so forth." Right?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So that's basically what they're doing. They're putting all the offensive language down the memory hole, and if they keep going, we'll have nothing to talk about, because there'll be no language left.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is the retracting words from history. But then, I mean, who stands to gain from this? What's the deal?
Well, it's easy. If you take words away, Mike, like, for example, a lot of Chinese people, this is a Chinese thing, they cannot differentiate between blue and green very easily because of the lack of words in their language. So if I show them turquoise or aqua, they can't recognize it. They don't know what it is. They either say it's green or blue. They have no recognition at all. So if you take a word away, you can't see something. If you take a word away, you can't think something. So the more they dumb down the language, the less people can think. The less expressive they are, the, more limited you are, the more in a box you are.
Yeah.
And Mike, your spacious box is looking very nice. All that renovation.
I know. What do you think of my duds tonight? I wanted to look like a little bit just kind of like Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta tonight.
Yeah, but you're sitting in a chair, Mike. You gotta have the hair too. You gotta have the hair. Very important.
Yeah. Okay. So James Andrew 62 says it's like book burning is what it is.
No, it's worse than book burning, because you might be able to find a copy. They're erasing historical copies, usually the last one. Like birth certificates in particular was the article we were referring to.
Yeah,
where if the registrar puts a negative connotation, like for example, the word retard, can't use that anymore. Invalid, you can't use that anymore. Any negative connotation, all those feelings these dead people must have while they're in their graves. Oh, I'm so offended by people using these words as the worms eat what's left of my body. Doesn't really make sense. It's only for the edification of these control freaks in the present. And control freaks, they are.
Okay, so question, is Evan puffing on a vintage Dunhill shell pipe?
No, that's my youngest brother does have a vintage pipe, but not me. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do any of that nasty stuff. Never have, never will. Don't need it to be this smart. I'm already crazy. I don't need to be more crazy by adding any illicit substances or mind-altering items into my body.
Okay.
And you can't eat Bitcoin either, Mike.
No, you can't eat.
Remind commenters there about Bitcoin, just in case they're asking. Very hard to eat that. Very hard to eat gold, Mike.
It is digestible. I think our body could digest gold because it's very soft. But
I'll tell you something, Mike. If you do eat too much gold, there's such a thing as gold toxicity. And what you'll end up with is either a green pigmentation or a red pigmentation, where all your lymphatic nodes are, and you turn pink or green. Quite interesting. Silver turns you blue. There's actually a man, you could look up the human Smurf, and he kept drinking colloidal silver, and he refined it wrong, and it became reactive silver, and it permanently stained his skin blue. That's interesting, right? So you got to be careful what you eat, especially when it comes to gold and silver.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so let's break out the champagne. Let's get the confetti. Let's get the families together, because it looks like they found a cure for cancer. It's called intravenous vitamin C. Is a cancer killer, but the FDA still wants to ban it. What the heck? We should break out the confetti. We should stop the funding, because we're funding way too much to cancer. And if vitamin C intravenous is going to combat 90% of all cancers, why not bring it forward?
Well, here's something interesting, Mike, because you know there are several types of vitamin C. Obviously, the one everyone knows is citric acid, which is vitamin C. But if you go to any product that has vitamin C in it, you'll never see citric acid. Even lemon drinks, they have ascorbic acid, which is made out of sulfuric acid, and I forget the other ingredient, but neither of them have vitamin C in them. And what that does is it accumulates in your kidneys and quite literally creates an acidic environment near your adrenal glands and causes all sorts of kidney failure as life goes on. So you've got to be very careful with vitamin C. That's one thing. And then intravenous vitamin C, yes, it does do that. But your body can only absorb so much. What it does to the cancer cell is it starves it of what it needs, which is an oxygen-deficient environment. That's what cancer needs.
Is there any way to buy pure vitamin? Like, is there any way to get pharmaceutical behind-the-counter vitamin C, like real vitamin C, not this orange tablet crunch crap?
Well, a lot of those orange tablet crunches, especially iron supplements, standard ferric iron and calcium carbonate for filler. So you're eating a brick, and then you're getting poisonous iron that leaches out through your extremities. You end up with black fingers, and a lethal dose is 2 of these soft, chewy gummy bears, and the children just eat them like candy. So you can imagine the problem there.
Oh, right. Okay, let's move on. Let's move...
But there is a way, yes, there is, Mike. I would just eat a lemon. How about that?
Yeah, I drink lemon water every single day.
You do, so you'll be cancer-free, won't you, Mike?
Well, because my blood level's always alkaline, right?
Well, here's the thing. An acidic food usually creates alkaline constituents, and an alkaline food creates acidic constituents. It reverses in the body. It's quite interesting. But if you eat real food, you don't have to worry about that, Mike. Yes, that's very important. If you start living on pills and supplements, and Mike Martin's here with super male vitality yet again this week. Look at those muscles, Mike. Look at those muscles. Then you're not really selling real food. You can't live off super male vitality. In fact, if you try, and someone did for a month, he ended up rather sick because it's mostly water. If you look at an ingredients list, Mike, water is usually first on most liquid supplements, and the filler and whatnot. It goes from biggest to smallest. Just so you know, if anyone reads a nutrition label, the ingredients are biggest to smallest. So if you see a Coca-Cola, what's the first ingredient?
Sugar.
Water.
Well, water than sugar.
Second ingredient. If it were a can of sugar, Mike, I don't think they could liquefy that. Though, they do get a lot of sugar in there. An incredible amount. And
yeah, I think Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew, I think Mountain Dew has enough sugar to kill a mule.
Only a mule. It kills a lot of people too, Mike. a lot of diabetic people, and then people get on the diabetes, and they can never get off because they start jabbing themselves with insulin, and their pancreas cells are gone, and their liver doesn't work, and they're on death's door and totally dependent for the rest of their lives.
Okay, someone's commenting here saying, 40-day fast. Do you think you could starve out cancer?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Once you go on to a fast, even after 16 hours of not having any carbohydrates, I imagine most people know what the ketogenic diet is, but you go into ketosis. When you're in ketosis, you've got, instead of carbohydrates fueling the brain and the body, you've got ketone bodies, beta-hydroxybutyrate, butyric acid, and acetone. And you breathe out the acetone, you'll be able to smell that on your breath, you'll smell like a nail salon if you're really in ketosis. That's one of the best ways to check that you are. And by doing so, you're creating an oxygen-rich environment. Cancer doesn't like that. Cancer can't survive in an oxygen-rich environment. It survives in a sugary, dark, wet, oxygen-deprived environment, which comes about by too much of the, snacking, which creates insulin, and what's the other thing? Carbohydrates, which spikes the insulin. So if you cut all that, you'd be doing very well. Cut out the sugar, eat real food, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Well, I try to eat real. Like my wife today made some really good. She got all the she boiled all the what do you call that vegetable? I'm not too much of a broccoli, and then she took that and then she sauteed it and then she crunched it all up into a nice soup with onion. Oh my God. It was one of the greatest things I think I've eaten, with a little bit of cheese up top, melting on top. Oh my God, it was the greatest thing I've eaten in the last 3 months.
And yet on your Instagram, Mike, I don't see a selfie with you with this broccoli dish.
No, well, no. Oh yeah, speaking of Instagram, guys, people keep asking me for my Instagram. Here it is, guys. I got some nice, there it is. It's Mike Martin's Official. So if you guys want to join, there's a fake one out there with my photo, but it's not me. So if you guys want to join my, follow me on Instagram, it's Mike Martin's Official. Here, I'll leave a link in the comments if you guys want to follow me. I don't really use Instagram too much, but I'm kind of backing off of Facebook right now quite a bit actually, because my Facebook is banned in Angola now too, and so is my YouTube.
It seems like they know that you know that they know, Mike, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's scaring. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary. There's one thing I want to bring up actually. This article is just. Here is a partial list of serial child offenders set free by Canadian justice system, and this is scary. I'm gonna leave it here. There's mugshots of every serial child offender that's being released to the public. So, guys, I want to make people aware in Canada where it's going. It's kind of important, guys. Oh, it's not even letting me post this link. It's saying that it's an illegal link.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. I mean, we know what the score is there. They are the protected class of society. Unlike us, we are the enemies of the system. So they get free rights. They get more rights than you. In fact, Maurice Strong, I learnt this one a while ago, but it's a good quote. When he was doing the Rio Summit for our climate, one of the first ones in the 2000s, early 2000s, it would have been 2001, I believe. And he said to a reporter, he said, "You can't do this, you take away, what about people's rights?" And Maurice Strong, who was the director of the environmental department at the UN, said, "By the time we're done, you'll wish you had the rights of a tree." And we're getting that way these days, Mike. You wish you had the rights of a tree.
So
everyone else gets the rights and we don't. You can't collect your rainwater. You can't pull up that blade of grass. It might be a great grandmother reincarnated. Who knows?
Okay, guys. So, guys, the link is here, guys. The link, I can't, so, it's on the province. This is what you gotta look up. It's called, here is just a partial list of serial child sex offenders set free by... I wanted to kind of create a bit of an awareness with this, but it's not allowing me to. So we're gonna move on. I want people to understand. Okay, I asked this with Anon, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. Ready to be tracked by your boss. UK companies prepare to microchip employees to boost security. Yes, we know it's the mark of the beast. Yes. But why do they want to know when we go to the bathroom? Why do they want to know where we are? Because they could track, apparently they could track what rooms we're in at home. They could even track where we are, where we're shopping. I mean, how's anyone gonna get down to the strip club anymore without being, found out?
Well, depends on what club we're talking about, Mike. But if we're talking about chips and whatnot, microchips. They want you to submit. This is just the test bed for it to get people. They tell you well in advance what they're going to do. They always warn you well in advance of what they're going to do. And consequently, it's going to be made trendy. You watch, there'll be a Visa commercial. They're already doing it with the PayWave, right? Oh, but imagine if you had a PayWave in your hand. No one could ever steal your credit card. And then you'll have this sudden increase in credit card theft. And they'll say something must be done about this. And instead of using your biometric, your face, which is a unique signature of who you are, you're going to have to get a chip in your arm, which makes no sense. And I don't know if you watched the first video of that when they did it in Scandinavia. He tried to open the door and he had to twist into a pretzel just to unlock the door. It's quite amusing. And yet they said, this is really quick and easy. If I were holding a bag, I'd have to drop everything just to unlock the door. And instead of just a card with a chip in it, you've got to have the chip in it. And there will be no rhyme or reason to it. They will say, because we said so, or else. And that's where society is going at the moment. It's because we said so, or else. And you look around you, Mike, because we said so, or else. That's the current theme I'm seeing.
Okay, my question is, how long do you think my channel has? I'm still below the radar. I'm still a nobody on YouTube, which is good. And I'm still below the radar. How much time do you think I have left before this channel goes?
I would think of it this way, Mike. It's not how long you've got. It's what you can do in the time you have, however long that is. And what you're doing is you're trying to wake people up, make people think for themselves, give them a perspective that might unshackle them later. It might not be today. It might be years from now. Someone remembered Mike Martin's flexing his muscles, selling super male vitality, and they go, I remember him. That's Mike Martin. He told me about the coming calamity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I wouldn't say how long, it's just when. It's not the if, it's the when now.
Okay. I got one here that's pretty offlandish. The weirdest thing I've seen. Even hotter than the real star, China creates a nuclear-powered artificial sun that beats the original. Is China going to blow up the world? It wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Here's my question, Mike. How do they know how hot the sun is?
Oh, they'll never know. I don't think we don't even know what's 100 feet below us, and we're gonna know how hot the sun is. It says here.
Hold on, Mike. I can tell you exactly how deep we've gone. 8 miles. That's the deepest we've ever dug.
Okay, so we don't know what's 10 miles below us, and we're gonna know what's on the sun.
Right. That's right. Apparently, we know what the Earth's core looks like, but we can only dig down 8 miles. That should raise some questions, right? They've got all these diagrams. We know exactly what the middle of the sun looks like. And all this, that, and the other. We just believe these scientists without even thinking about it. Most children don't. And the first thing they're taught is everything that's, brainwashable. Everything they try. Now they're trying to bring sexuality into schools. They've done the whole space thing. They've done the food pyramid, which makes no sense whatsoever. If you ate that, you end up a diabetic. It's based on the... Oh, it does. I mean, you keep eating bread. Six servings of that, 5 times a day or whatever it is. You'll end up rather rotund, Mike.
Rotund. Okay,
rotund. Corpulent, in other words.
So Chinese researchers pushing to find a major clean energy source have created an incredible artificial sun that can reach the temperatures of 100 million degrees Celsius, a heat so intense it makes the real sun seem merely lukewarm. So it's an Earth-based solar stimulator.
I think what it is, Mike, is just the classic magnetron like the Japanese were developing. And then you generate momentum and you spin some magnetic turbines off that. That's usually what they do. There's not that many ways to generate power apart from spinning something. That's how motors work. That's how generators work. That's how nuclear power plants work. It's not the nuclear power that does anything. It's the heat created and thereby
exhaust.
The steam,
exhaust.
Thereby the turbine. Yes, that's right. So if it's a turbine and you're boiling water, I'm sure it will generate power.
Because this thing's incredible. I mean, it's great for China to do something like this because, China is energy hungry right now that they've gone off the coal standard, right?
That's right. Well, I mean, there are other ways to generate energy. I mean, if you think about how does a lightning bolt work, It's a differential charge, isn't it? The Earth is abundantly negative in charge, and the more height you have, the more voltage you have, therefore you've got a Tesla tower. And as I look around everywhere, Mike, with all these steel concrete structures, it looks like quite a lot of working Tesla towers up and running right now to keep that power load going, given we use AC power as well. That would be a hot topic, Mike. Might even get you thrown off YouTube.
Yep. Oh, yeah. If we discuss climate change or we discuss vaccines, where you could do time for that in jail.
Oh, but hold on, mate. If you hurt my feelings, you could go to jail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or if I pronounce your wrong gender, if I assume that you're a male.
Oh, but hold on. You could assume I'm a male, and then I change my mind and accuse you. How would you know any different?
Oh, but people are basically facing charges in the UK for doing that.
That's right, because you wouldn't want to hurt someone's feelings. You know, murder's fine. You know, gang rape and all that other stuff that people are doing, acid attacks, stabbings, scooter drive-by shootings, that's fine, but you've called me something I don't agree with at this particular moment, perhaps, maybe. So you're in trouble, young man.
Yep. Okay, vitamin D lowers the risk of dying from cancer. Fish oil reduces heart attack risk, says study.
Yes, that's true. Eat fish, nothing wrong with fish. Don't worry about the mercury. Just don't eat the upper level food chain fish. Eat something low, like a celery. You know, Pacific celery is very cheap. Cheapest fish you could buy. Very nice. It's basically a mini mackerel. If you like mackerel, it's a very good fish. There are smaller versions of salmon out there. They are the throwaway fish. Very good for you, very bioavailable protein, good fat profile and everything else. Vitamin D, go outside. That's all you have to do. And you'll get all the vitamin D you need. However, you could have all the vitamin D you need and all the fish you've ever eaten. And then you don't watch where you're going when you cross the road.
What about tuna? Is tuna okay?
Tuna's a bit high up on the food chain, Mike. It can accumulate. See, if there's mercury in the water, the little fish eats another, a bigger fish eats a little fish, eats a bigger fish, and so on and so forth. And that's building up each creature that the larger fish has eaten. And they eat a lot more fish, right? So you can end up with a higher concentration of mercury, but even then, negligible compared to that hot topic that I wouldn't want to inject directly into the conversation.
No, God forbid, because the creators of the yeah. Okay. Here's the bombshell of them all. This is a good one. It's by Awareness Act. It's a big, and they're kind of reputable. This has been growing a bit on social media on and off. But scientists have been given the green light to resurrect the dead.
Well, good luck with that. Not going to happen, because only one person resurrected, and only one person will resurrect until the end of time. That's when we all get resurrected, right?
Right.
Because we all die once, and then you've got the first death for some people and the second death for some people. The other people, they're given new bodies and all that, this, that, and the other, according to the Bible. Most people don't believe that. They believe more what the Bitcoin's doing today than what the Bible says, and hasn't changed and remains consistent throughout time. They worry about the spiking up and down of the Bitcoin, or what Trump ate for dinner last night. You know?
Yeah, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, KFC again. Oh, gee. He's going to end up fat if he keeps eating all that KFC, or at least posing in front of the KFC. Imagine if you just take a photo next to KFC, it doesn't make you fat. If you start eating it, it will, though.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
Some of the best food you can eat is KFC.
Okay.
Is
yeah, exactly. Okay, price tag on the war of terror will top $6 trillion soon.
That's a bargain. Cheap as chips, Mike, and it'll keep going. And, I mean, have you seen the bomb count for Afghanistan this year? Beat all other years.
That's
combined.
right, in bombings, yeah. But $6 trillion, I mean, you know that would solve world hunger and probably cure a few devastating diseases and highly educate the world's population.
It could, but however, Mike, remember I said NASA. If you look at NASA's budget, it dwarfs the war on terror. If you add up NASA's budget, and then you think, well, if they're murdering people for $6 trillion, what do they stand to gain from A space agency. Wonder what they're up to.
Hey, I
That's
wanted
a
to...
hot topic too, Mike.
Let me ask you something. Does Mexico have a space agency?
Let's see. Mexico, yes. India, yes. Europe's got one. Japan's got a funny one. If you watch their, feeds, you just start asking all sorts of questions. The best one to look at is the Challenger probe, where you've got the stagehand turning the model because the little gear jammed up. You can see a big black hand, big black face in the shadows, turning the little model. So a lot of it's fake. How much is real? That's another question.
Yeah, we'll do a whole moon landing hoax video one day.
Oh,
okay,
colossal.
Get ready for a wave of household bankruptcies in Canada. Same thing in Australia. They're over leveraged 190%. So we don't have to comment on this. I just wanted to throw that up there. Get ready for the wave, guys.
Yeah, have you got your surfboard, Mike?
Okay, last story. Are you ready? Experienced butcher admits when we see cancer in pork, we just cut it out and still sell it to customers. My question to you is eating cancer hazardous to us?
That's a good question, Mike. I'd assume it shouldn't be because it's going through your digestive system. However, if it were pork and there was something in the cancer that was still alive, you can have cross-species transmission with pork. That's why it's so dangerous compared to other meats. You can get encephalitis, where your brain starts eating itself and inflaming. Very common when you eat pork. But then with cows, because they add recombinant bovine growth hormone and all sorts of other nasties to the cows, the factory farm, you can end up with spongiform in the brain, which is basically sponge brain, which is mad cow disease.
I like eating bacon, okay? I like eating bacon. You're scaring me.
Oh, well, are you dead, Mike? No. So don't worry about it. Don't eat anything that's, in excess or in bad quality. They cut out the tumours, so you don't eat them. At least that's something. At least they're courteous enough to do that, Mike.
Okay.
Think about it that way. They probably sell the cancers to the Chinese restaurants, and then your sweet and sour pork, delicious. Pork cancer, can't go wrong. Probably be the right shape, too.
All right, guys, so it's time for a movie plug. Everyone's asking me to do movie plugs every time I do a show, at the end of the show to do a movie plug. Well, I got a movie I want to recommend for everybody. It's an older one. It's from 1998. It's with Gene Hackman and Will Smith. And no, I'm not a big fan of Will Smith. He's a good guy, but I'm not a big fan. But he was in a movie called Enemy of the State.
Very good film.
Very good film. Extremely good film, and it pretty much discussed everything we have. So all the movies that I have recommended to people have recommended to people I'm getting feedback from people all the time saying that the it's just phenomenal. Thank you. Can you please recommend more and more movies for us? A lot of these movies we don't know too much about. So this is Will Smith. He ends up picking up something from somebody, and that's something that he picks up is sensitive material from the government, and then the government's chasing him down like you would never believe, and he is tracked, watched. They set up a few Humpty Dumptys outside of his house and follow his nanny and everybody to find out this sensitive information. It's called Enemy of the State, and it stars Will Smith and Gene Hackman. I really recommend that you watch Enemy of the State from 1998. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix, but, oh, okay, Matt Guy is saying I have it on DVD. It's good.
Better share it with everybody else then, friend.
Yeah.
Just mail Mike a copy.
Yeah, so it's a really, really good movie. I have it downloaded from years ago on my hard drive, so I did see it with my wife. One of the first movies we did see was Enemy of the State, and she couldn't believe how they could put surveillance on someone more than, it's just phenomenal, right? So I'm going to show you guys.
The tracking and the tracing, it's pretty easy. Everything's serialized. It's not hard to follow a number trail.
Oh, here's the famous image of him running through one of the tunnels here in Washington, D.C., in a bathrobe, because he had to undress his clothing because he had all these transmitters on him.
Yes, which they are adding to clothing now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. Yeah, so this is it. I kind of wanted to show this to you guys. Enemy of the State. If you haven't seen it, Evan, you've seen it. Do you like it?
I think it's quite a good film, but if I were to choose another film that's on the other side of that, well, I mean, Minority Report, Enemy of the State, Running Man, they're all very much similar theme.
But this one,
or even Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd, yeah, that was good. But you know what? This movie doesn't have a lot of exposure. Not that people don't know it. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, people won't know what's on their birth certificate soon enough. They'll change your gender to 0.
So, Enemy of the State is my plug, guys, for movie for this week. Enemy of the State. Watch it. There's my Instagram if you guys want to follow me. And, guys, I'm going to leave a link again to my handheld junkie, guys. Please, please, please subscribe to this channel. Do not turn on the notifications if you don't have to. It's not important. It's not important. I'm just trying to build a nice base with it.
Bit by bit.
Yeah. 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 So...
Mike, you sound really tired. How come?
3 hours and 30 minutes talking straight.
That's pretty good, Mike. Almost beats my record of 7 hours talking straight. But we won't put you through that, Mike. I won't do that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it a good show, Mike?
Yes, it was a great show. We covered a lot of ground, and next week we'll be back again on Saturday with Mike in the Night, and we'll have another...
Did the Kev bot show up?
Kevin?
No, the Kev bot. I don't think... He's half robot, half man. I guess he's a cyborg then, isn't he? Sometimes he's a robot, sometimes he's a man. That Kevin Thompson.
Yeah, he was on earlier. I think he got timed out by somebody. Somebody timed him out.
He might have just gone out of signal range so high in the sky as he was, Mike.
It could have been those weed cookies. So, guys, don't forget...
it could have been.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget to join me Wednesday night for Trends in the Housing Market. We'll get Steve the Plumber on. I missed his call earlier. I was in the shower when he called. So, guys, next Wednesday, Trends in the Housing Market. What's happening in the housing market, and it's not looking good anywhere. And any market's not looking good, but yeah.
Down.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Evan, thanks so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. God bless, and we'll keep in touch.
Pleasure. Of course.
All right. So, guys, that's Evan in Hong Kong joining us, our truth expert. Thank you, guys, for being here tonight. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for contributing. And, guys, don't forget to tip my tip jar. Thanks to everybody that has tipped my tip jar. It really means a lot to me. I feel like I've accomplished something. You know, you get a slight reward, but it means a lot. Thank you, everyone who's been supporting this transmission. And, yeah, thank you so much. And, no, Evan does not have his own channel. He's got a view from space. He's watching from afar, and he's got an answer for everything, and a logical answer for everything. Let's put it that way. He's got a logical answer for why things are happening the way they are, and giving us a different perspective from space. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good night. Happy Saturday and Sunday to everybody.